Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Constance. I am so honored to have our beloved sister STACEY on with me on this morning. She is such a powerful woman of God. She has so much wisdom, so much grace. And just to give you a little bit of information about STACEY, her name is STACEY Warren. She is the CEO of Simply STACEY, where she encourages and motivates and uplifts women. She is also a counselor as well. She is in school getting her MSN with MSN in behavior science. She's also coming out at the end of in 2018. She will have a book out called To the Singles. Is that right? To My Singles.
To My Singles.
She is encouraging, uplifting, giving some awesome and wise advice. So STACEY, I am just glad to have you here. This is a laid back conversation. I believe that it's a much needed conversation. So can you share with us, today we're going to be talking about life after divorce. Can you share with us your testimony?
Yes. And I'm excited to be here with you, Constance. I tell you, it's a pleasure. And thank you for the opportunity, sweetie. Yes. I met my first husband because I've been married twice.
Mm-hmm.
My first husband I met when I was 15 years old. So we was basically childhood sweethearts. Mm-hmm. We was actually in two different school districts, and I met him through a mutual friend. And he came and found me at the school I was at. So by the time I was 18 years old, we was married, had our first child. You know how it is. You think you're having the fairy tale.
Yeah.
But fairy tale turned into a nightmare real quick. But I wound up being with him for 20 years.
Wow.
And part of that is because of the religious teaching that I had. You know how it is. You don't get married. God ain't for divorce and all those different types of things. Then on top of that, you don't want to be alone. You don't want to start over. Mm-hmm. All that kind of stuff came into play with me staying with him for 20 years. Then you just don't want your kids to grow up without a father. You want them to be with their father. So all the typical reasons why someone would stay married, I did it. Mm-hmm. And I loved him. I just loved him. You know, mm-hmm. I was a virgin when I met him. My first, my only. So, and that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to stick through every storm, through everything that life brings you. You're supposed to stick there with that marriage. That's what people don't have today. They don't stick. They don't have that glue. The first little problem, they run. And it could be the most simplest thing, they're running. But I stuck through things that was really horrendous that we shouldn't stick through. We really shouldn't. Yeah. You know, especially when they done broke the covenant and went out and made covenant with someone else. You shouldn't stick there through them types of things. But I stuck for all those types of reasons. Mm-hmm. And it all boiled down to that I loved him. But in the midst of it, I came back to the Lord at the age of 25. So in the process of coming back to the Lord at the age of 25, even when I was a teenager, I loved the Lord. I was saved. And really, it was a trap. Me getting with my husband really was a trap. But what I know now, I didn't know then. Mm. I didn't know it was a trap.
Why do you say it was a trap?
Because really, he didn't even grow up in the church. Mm. I was in the church. Not that that made me any different, but I was in the church and I was saved. I constantly read my Bible as a young girl. Mm-hmm. I love God. I had a relationship with him. It may have been, I was in the beginning phases, but I love God. So I shouldn't even been out there dealing with him as an unsaved person. He wasn't even a believer. Mm. Yeah. But you know how it is. You're in school. Everybody else got little boyfriends, little girlfriends. So it's just like normal, just like things in society now sees normal. But in the kingdom of God, it's not normal. Mm-hmm. Not for the kingdom of God. So that's why I say it was a trap. The enemy knew that he knows that God has a purpose for our life. Mm-hmm. He knows that he wants us to have a relationship with him. He knows, the enemy knows that God wants us to have a relationship with him. So he puts things in our life to take us off the path from going with God and pressing into God. So that's why I say it was a trap. Mm. The enemy sent him there. He sent him in my life.
Yeah, because he would have derailed your life path, especially, not being equally yoked.
Yes.
So he, so what after, you said you've been through some horrendous things. What for you was like the final straw where you said, no, this is not what I deserve. This is not what I'm worth. And I know the Lord also had to be guiding you through it too. What made you say, okay, I got to break free from this?
Well, we had been through those 20 years. It was like we would break up, get back, break up, get back. So at the end, my grandmother, when I bought my first home, my grandmother was living with me, and she passed away at the age of 64. And I began to really look at my life like, am I happy? You know, my grandma didn't even make it. She was getting her retirement because she had worked for the school system for years, but she died at 64. She wasn't able to get a Social Security or nothing. And all the years she worked since she was 14 years old. So I really, really sat back after that experience. It really like shocked me. It was like a counterbolt for me. Like, am I happy? If I died today or tomorrow, can I say that I'm at peace with the life that I've lived? No matter, and at that time I was like 30, maybe 33, 34, 35. And I said, am I really happy? If I died today, will I have a lot of regrets? So that's when I began to take account for my life, like regrets I would have. You know, I would regret that I stuck with him knowing that I should have been done got out.
Yeah.
He's not valuing me. He's not loving me. And then the broke the camel's back was that he was cheating with somebody else.
Wow.
And we had already been through this several years. He had cheated with one of my best friends. And I got over it. You know, that was in the beginning of our marriage.
Yeah.
And I stayed silent about it. I knew they was cheating with each other, but I stayed silent about it in the beginning of our marriage.
Why'd you stay silent?
I think I was shocked. I was hurt. I don't know. And I was young. When you're young, you know how you make decisions that I probably wouldn't have did that now because I got my voice.
Yes.
So I would really speak up. But then I was hurt. She was my best friend. We have been best friends since middle school.
I'm so sorry.
And then she wound up being pregnant. And right to the day, I believe that's a child. I think we don't talked about it, me and her. We don't discussed it like over 10 years ago. We talked about it and everything. But I was hurt. I was shocked. Then part of you don't want to let them go. And I just didn't know what to do because you're young. You don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
And other women tell their stories and stuff, but you really don't know what to do because you got an immature mind. This is your first time experiencing these types of things. So what do I do? But I stayed silent for years. They didn't even know I knew, but I knew.
Wow, Stacey, how could you do that? Because that takes. I mean,
I knew. And she was still coming to my house and everything, and I just like it just never was talked about. She didn't even know I knew. When we did discuss it, when I came back to the Lord at 25, we wound up talking, and that's when it all came out. Because I told her I'm separating from you, you're not going to hang together no more. Because when I came back to the Lord, I just separated from all my worldly friends. And just jumped right on and just went to church. But that's what broke the camel back. Him cheating again. And the woman calling my house. He was in the house. He was on the phone. And then he was on drugs. He wound up doing crack.
Wow. Miss Stacey, I'm so sorry all that happened to you. But I know, like, it was the Lord that had to be keeping you so strong. So together.
It was.
Because that is a lot. And your best friend and the fact that she could have had a child with him. But wow, like that is such a powerful testimony. So many women I know can relate to everything that you're saying, can relate to being there. Because do you think that the factor there was that you didn't know what it would be like if you started anew? Because I know sometimes financial keeps us in certain situations. I know my mom and my dad, they were married, they divorced after 25 years. And I think my mom, she had never been on her own. So I think that was one of the things that kept her inside the marriage. Was that one of the factors as well?
Not for that marriage.
Okay.
Now my second marriage, it was. My second marriage, it was financially. I looked at my life. I had went to nursing school and I didn't pass the first couple of times I took the exam, I didn't pass. So I was in that second marriage, which really wasn't a marriage. I really could have got it annulled because we didn't consummate that marriage.
Wow.
I actually left the first husband. Me and this guy was friends and we developed that friendship and wound up getting married. But he had ED, erectile dysfunction. So we never consummated. But he went and filed for the divorce. We got divorced and everything. But really, I could have got it annulled. But at that point, we was in there. I just said, just forget just going with the divorce.
Yeah.
Because the judge told me I could get it annulled because we never even consummated. People don't know that. Even when you go fill out your divorce papers, it asks you, did you have no divorce papers? And he admitted it, that we never had sex or whatever, and we had all doctor's reports because he was constantly going to the doctor trying to get a remedy or whatever. But he had some other medical conditions and stuff going on too. But basically, I picked that guy up because of the sickness that was in me, and I understand that. After a while, I understood that. Because I was sick on the inside. I was still wounded from that 20-year marriage. I was still wounded from that. So I jumped into that marriage basically because I didn't want to be alone, me and him connected. He was feedback guy. He was totally basically the opposite of what I had.
Wow, that's powerful. Because, man, so you just, how soon was it? How soon was it after?
I married the other guy maybe a year to 16 months after.
Wow.
That. Yeah.
And see, this is the thing. Like you didn't have a whole lot of experience when you got in your first marriage. So
no,
you were kind of naive to everything, and then you said you were first, and so you didn't probably know. Like, did you? So how do you think the relationship, your parents' relationship, played into like the kind of relationships that you developed? Do you think that had anything to do with it?
It could have. My mom was with my stepdad because she didn't marry my father.
Oh, okay.
And she was married to my other sibling's father. But then she was young when she married him. It was like he was like 40 and she was like 17 when she married him. We was young. I was 3 years old. So then she married my stepdad that she was with. They was together like 40 years. So my mom had her own personal experience with divorce and all those different types of things.
Wow.
So even when you talk about depression, my mom really went through that with her 40-year marriage and divorce.
Wow. My mom also, I can relate to that because my mom was married for like 25 years and she experienced, I know, depression throughout the marriage. Just for, I guess, for several reasons, but one of them, I guess, not knowing if she should get out on her own. And then it was just a lot of factors. That relationship was very, it was very toxic. It was very difficult to sit there and go through. And I want to get some of, like, when I hear your testimony, I'm like, you should be writing tons of books. I'm serious. There's so many books inside of you. There's so many, like, you have such a powerful testimony, and there's so many women I know will be blessed by hearing your testimony, because there's young women like me who haven't been married yet. And we do have to know what to look for in relationships, and there's some women who honestly might be going through a divorce now, or might be going through a situation where a man cheated, he's disrespecting her, and maybe she just doesn't love herself enough to leave. What would you say to that woman?
I always come from a biblical perspective because that's what has helped me.
Yes, ma'am.
My key thing and the purpose why I'm out here is to help young women like you, women of my age and even older, understand who they are in God.
Yes, ma'am.
And once you learn who you are in God and learn God and biblical principles, it will set the tone for who you select and put in your life. Without God and knowing who God truly is, you will make toxic decisions. You will put toxic people in your life because you won't be able to discern the spirit by the spirit to see if it's of God. So that's one thing that I had to learn. That's why, like now, when men come to me, I know that they're not of God. They can talk scriptures. They can be a preacher. They can be a singer. They can be whatever. Or they walking in the fruit of the spirit.
Yes.
So you can say a lot with your mouth, but actions show you who somebody is.
That is very true. Actions.
So without God, we truly don't know who we are. We truly don't know who we are. We really don't.
Amen.
We truly can't love without God because most people think love is an emotion. Love is a feeling. It's not.
You're right. Absolutely right.
God told me, I said, Lord, how am I going to know the man to come in my life this time that you said that he loves me, that he's really sent from you? And he gave me 1 Corinthians 13. It tells you what love is right there. It's
love is patient.
It's long-suffering. It's gentle. And he told me, even with myself, How am I gonna know if I'm being loving to people? Not just a man that comes in my life, but in my friendships, with my children, with my mother, with my siblings. How am I know I'm being loving? Am I being kind to them? Am I being patient with them? Am I long suffering with them? Am I being gentle? So God done gave us a map to follow. He done gave us things that we can look at and apply it to the people that come in our life to see if it is of God. But if you don't know, like you said, I was naive back then. I grew up in the church all my life, and I heard, and that's what's going on now. You hear a lot of stuff preached at you, not really taught to you. So you can really take what you learn, put it in your life, and when you leave that church building and you come home, that you can execute out what you just learned. They're not in ministries like that. They're not learning like that. So they go into church, they get a good feeling. It's like getting a shot of a drug. Come home, and everything that you just heard in church, you can't utilize it. It's just like getting food that ain't got no nutritional value to it. What is it doing for you? Absolutely nothing at all. So I had to go through the hard knock life, and I don't regret anything I went through. I thank God, because I wouldn't be at this point right now. That wasn't God's ideal situation, because he don't want to teach us through trials like that. He don't want to teach us like that. He want to teach us through his word, through his spirit. But see, the world make you think, Christians that's religious make you think like, no, you got to go through this to get this understanding. No, you don't. I don't have to be a crackhead to know that crack ain't good.
Thank you for saying that. I was on a talk last night, on a show last night. We were speaking, and we're talking about that thought process of being religious, because it keeps you in a box. But we have, as people, as believers of the Lord, the believers of the Most High, we have to truly get to know God for ourselves. I've been in church almost all my life, and I've listened to the preaching. I have people put hands on me saying, God is going to heal you. God is going to bless you. You're going to get your breakthrough. And I promise you, Sister Stacy, things don't begin to change until I was getting to know God for myself and making a conscious decision to change.
That's it.
Making a conscious decision to make better life decisions.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you shared what you shared, because a lot of people are in church and they're honestly not growing, they're not developing, and they're hanging on every word the pastor says. But you must know the Most High. You must know our Creator for yourself. Get in the word for yourself.
Yes.
You can find for yourself, and he will set you free, not man. A lot of times we think that the key is through another person. But if we can get to know God for ourselves, he already gave us the identity. He already is with us. The Holy Spirit is speaking to us and through us. So we can just be quiet and get into a place of study. We can discover who he wants us to be.
Yes.
But most people go into somebody else to figure out who they are. So that was a powerful message that you said about I think you said about being religious.
Yes. A lot of people they're religious. They're really religious. And I done learned that with my life coming out of religion and being religious. Just going to church don't mean you got relationship.
No.
And the things I've learned now, a lot of time, God had to pull me out of the church. See, everybody's not there right now. So I wouldn't tell you to leave the church. You do what you do. But God pulled me from among them.
Yeah.
To put me in the place that I'm at now. When I divorced my second husband, if I hadn't prayed and fasted and sought God like I did, I know in one of the questions you asked me about a scripture that kept me going doing that. And I can say that I had several scriptures. The Bible, I did the whole Bible. I praise God every day. I didn't even look at TV. I didn't even look at TV. I just listened to praise music. I praise God all day long. I read my word every day. I stayed in the word constantly. God told me to go on a 40-day fast when I first left him.
Wow.
And in the state that I live in, I moved into one of the counties that I never lived in. God took me from out of a comfortable place where I was used to living and grew up in, and he moved me to one of the counties that I never lived in.
Wow.
And it was me, my son, and my daughter. And I left that relationship and I had nothing. I got a special needs child. I was getting a check for him, and that was it. It wasn't even $1,000 a month. And I was surviving on that. God told me to leave that relationship.
Wow.
But in me, I kept thinking, I might need to get on my feet first. And this was flesh. I might go find me a job, get on my feet, and leave. Don't just leave and I ain't got no finances. I got to get in a place. You know, so all this stuff going through your mind. But God let me know that's fear. And one of my brothers called me because actually my ex, he was planning his escape. He was calling around for places and he was getting ready to go. He was ready to bounce. My brother heard him on the phone and said, he said some little cuss words and stuff. And he's like, oh, he's getting ready to leave you. So my brother actually.
The second one.
Yes, the second one. So my brother actually asked one of his friends, could I stay in his house? But I'm going to tell you how good God is with nothing. This man had a house that he had bought. It was like a townhouse. It was like 4 levels because, you know, in the city, their house, I mean, that townhouse was nice. All that man charged me was $200 a month.
What? That's the Lord.
Yes, honey. Cable was on in the house. Lights was on in the house. Fully furnished, everything. He didn't live there. He was staying up Philly with his mom. I stayed in because I live in Delaware. I stayed in Wilmington in his townhouse.
Wow.
If the light bill only went over $10 a month, that's all he charged me. He was still paying them. That man, I'm going to tell you.
That was God.
Yes.
Because you came into agreement to and didn't let the fear rule you. Didn't let the fear take over your situation. And he provided. Yes, now that is powerful.
Just think if I had because my brother said that, they said, well, because I said, well, because he was blind. My second husband was legally blind. And I used to drive him around, and I was like, well, if I leave, what is he going to do? And I told myself, well, we just stay together till we get on our feet. This is my thinking. But that was part of my fear too, talking. Because I wanted to try to build myself up and get where I felt like I was stable because I was used to taking care of myself, handling my business. So that was part of that fear in me. But God was like, no, you're going to step out on this water. You're going to walk on this water. But I heard God and my brother, he said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to leave. Because I knew God was compelling me to leave. I knew it was. But it was just the fear in me with the finances that I felt like, I can't leave. How am I going to be able to provide? You know, because I didn't just have my son. My daughter was grown. She was working. But I had my son. He's special needs. So I got to take care of myself and him. I didn't just have myself. But God took care of me. He let me and my kids stay in that house. I ain't even see him. He was a friend of my brother. I never even seen him. He would just come in there, leave. I would put the money in the envelope, and he would just pick it up or whatever when he came down or whatever, because I'd be gone.
You never even seen him?
No, we only seen each other maybe 2 times at the whole time I was staying there.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
That's powerful, Stacey. I mean, Sister Stacey, that is very powerful.
So God took care of me. Financially, I can say that God took care of me in the midst of, but one thing I can tell ladies, and I know that fear is there because a lot of women go get men just because of the finances, because they can't take care of themselves and stuff. And yes, it was not easy. It's been like now I divorced him like in 2009, and this is 2017, and I'm still single. And God, and I'm not going to say it was easy. He took me through a process. It was easy, but it wasn't easy. Because God is just, some things is unexplainable when you're flowing with God, because it's your personal experience with God and how he took me up there. And then I got out there and I didn't know where I was going to go again. I wound up staying with my mother. So it was a journey all through the whole thing. Then me and my mom my mom wound up getting divorced, and me, her, and my sister wound up getting a place together, and we splitting the bills. So it's been a journey. Then we was back to my sister got married, and me and my mom was like by ourselves. It was a whole journey. Then we wound up staying with somebody, and then God blessed my mom with a lump of money, and we bought us a place, and that's where we're at now. Cash money.
Wow.
God provided.
Look at God.
People don't want to go through the storm. With God, he said, thinking not strange when fiery trials come. And when you make bad decisions, because you got to be honest with yourself now. Some of these things we get ourselves into.
Yes, ma'am.
And like that second marriage, Stacey got herself into it. And the enemy have you think, well, I know this is of God. Because at one point I did think like, well, we became friends and how it came about. And that's why I said the enemy sets traps.
Yes.
And you don't realize that they're traps. It's just like somebody out there hunting. That's what the devil's doing, but people don't realize that. He's setting traps for you to stick your foot in and get trapped up. And a lot of times these relationships, that's what they are. The devil's hunting for you, and he's setting traps. And he's using people to be the traps for you. And that's what happened in my life. But you don't know that at the time. You be thinking, oh, God gave me this man, and he's my husband. You don't realize.
That's why discernment is key. We were talking about that last night, about honing in on and owning responsibility for our decisions, but also utilizing discernment. And it's a lot of times people don't want to take the way of the Lord, the way of the Most High.
Yes.
It's not easy. The enemy provides you something quick, fast, and it's going to be appeasing your flesh. But when you're following behind Christ, it's not going to be an easy route, but it's going to be the only route.
Yes.
You will reap the blessings, but you got to stay on the course, and you got to do what he is telling you, what our Creator is telling you to do. So
you
that is so powerful that you denied your flesh, you denied yourself, and you didn't even know how you were going to get blessed. But he blessed you. He opened up doors for you and your mother. He gave the lump sum of money. He gave the beautiful townhouse. It was all our Creator letting you know that it is him who is telling you to step out, to set yourself apart, to set yourself aside. Oh, that just
honey. He opened up that Red Sea.
My spirit.
Yes, he opened up that Red Sea, and that's why I tell people, do you really believe in the God you say you serve? That's why I always say that. Do you really believe the word that you read? Like people talk about faith. He said faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So you're not going to see it, but everybody's out here mad and angry because they're not getting manifestation. He said you're not going to see it. That's part of faith. Yeah. You have to believe. That's part of faith. You have to believe. You're not going to see it until you see it.
Amen.
So you got to keep faith until you see it.
That's true.
You know, that's true.
You got to believe.
Take it in them scriptures.
And sometimes we are hindering our own blessings.
Yes.
We are hindering our own blessings, like you said, because of lack of faith and also because of fear. Yes. And the enemy, what the enemy does is he loves to play with the visuals. He loves to, like with me with losing weight. Sometimes I look at myself and I be like, oh, I ain't doing good this week. I might as well eat that bag of chips, or I ain't doing. But take your eyes off what you see and do the work, and it will eventually manifest. So that's powerful. I want to step into.
I agree with you with that weight thing, but you know what God told me about the weight? I'm going to interject with that. I take it one day at a time now. Like one meal. What I eat now, make right choices now. Yes. What I drink, make everything I put in my mouth. What am I doing right now in this moment, today? Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. What am I doing now? And that's how we got to do with our relationship with God. What are we doing now? Are we loving God now? Are we in relationship with him now? Are we studying his word now? Is we seeking his face now? What are we doing now? Everybody's worried about the future. They worry about the past. It's a distraction for the enemy. What are you doing now? I could drop dead the next minute. I get off this computer. But what am I doing now for God?
Amen, Sister Stacy. Amen. What are you doing now? You're right. It is about the here and now, because sometimes we get lost. A lot of times in my life, I got lost in the past, worrying and being sad about what happened in the past. And then you put much pressure on yourself from the future, and sometimes you can get stuck. So you do want to focus on utilizing your time wisely and being proactive right now, the here and now. What can we do? Amen. Now that'll preach all day. That'll preach right there.
I know that's my favorite.
All day. It will. Like, you just got me all fired up. I wanted to touch on some of these questions, though.
Go ahead, babe.
So the first question I asked, what are some of the steps that one should take when divorce becomes inevitable?
The first thing to do is seek God for his direction. Because that's what I had to do. You got to seek God. Don't try to figure it out in your mind and do what you think. That's what I was doing, trying to figure out in my own mind, what should I do? Where should I go? Seek God, because you'll get opinions from everybody. You know, everybody got an opinion. Girl, do this. Girl, do that. Girl, do that. Seek God. Rest in God. You know, fast, because you're going to need to fast to put that flesh under subjection. Because you're going to be in fear. You're going to be in hurt. Divorce is like going through withdrawal. You're withdrawing from something that you are used to having. So you got to set yourself up for success. And part of that is getting in your word and seeking God and fasting. You have to start there as a believer. You have to. Then set down in your natural thing. If you got to write out a plan, a lot of people write out plans. You might have to work out a plan. Some things I can just think in my mind and I just execute it out.
Yeah.
Figure out what your next step going to be. Because a lot of times not knowing, you will fall for anything. You'll do anything. Anything that come up, especially when you don't know who you are, you know, just like a lot of women, they meet another guy and they're ready to jump in there with another guy because they're ready to leave the situation. So they're ready to jump into something else because they want to have that same feeling that they just had in that relationship. They want to stay in that comfort zone of where they used to be. They don't want to go into the unknown. So divorce is like going into the unknown. And that's where I was at. I went into the unknown because I was used to always having this boy since I was 15 years old. Wow. So by the time I got rid of him, I was always used to being with somebody. That's why jumping into that next relationship that was my comfort. I like being married. I like being a wife. So that was my comfort zone. I like giving. So having men to give to and serve and stuff, I like that. I'm in my natural habitat. You know, like a lot of women, that's not done that. It's my natural habitat. I know I was made to be a wife. So
mine too. That's my natural habitat.
I enjoy that. So in knowing that about myself, I had to prepare myself. Now I did that with the second one. That's why I'm at where I'm at now. But I went through hard knocks to get to this place because of the fears and the anxieties that was in me. And that's what's going on with a lot of women. That's why they jump from relationship to relationship. You got to take that time, make a plan so that you won't fall for anything.
Well, Sister Stacey, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, baby.
What when you say the fears and anxieties, I'm sure some of that stuff is deeply rooted, and it was in you, of course, before you got married because it manifested. What do you think those things were, and how did you heal yourself? So now that you're in a position to have a great marriage if you decide to get married again. So you obviously, I can tell, I watch your channel a lot. You have addressed those fears, those anxieties. How did you get to that root? And was it hard? Was it difficult to say, I need to work on this, I need to work on that?
With my character, and I know it's other people like that, and like my mom, she says, to me and hers, like, we have a lot of similarities, but we have differences. So me, looking at my mom, we've always been close. So the different balance, like some things come easier for me than her. So like me, I got this, like she said, I got a forward movement about me. I got a forward movement. Some people get stuck. I don't. Even with my relationship with the first husband and even with the second one, I sat down and I need to understand why. It's just like some people, they need to understand why this work, and they're tinkering and trying to figure out why this work like this and tearing stuff apart and trying to figure out stuff. That's how I do my relationships. Like, why did it turn out like this? Why did it happen? That's part of my healing process that I went through. We shouldn't have been, like I said, I realized it was a trap. So I knew I shouldn't have been in that relationship anyway. So I can't keep crying over something that shouldn't have never been in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. So what do you think led you to that trap? You think it was just basically like being young and wanting that experience and
just being young and it's just normal. Like you see a lot of other kids, just like now you see kids in school and stuff now. You don't really think about it. Like I didn't really think, I was young. I didn't really think about like boyfriends, and I had boyfriends before him. You had little fellas you talk to, and you know how you be in school, you passing those when you go with me, like to say on TV. Yeah. That really happened in my generation. We passed notes. You be my girlfriend, yes, like that. So you don't really think about it. It's just a part of normal part of growing up, being a teenager, and you just, I like you, you're cute, you just get with them. So it's just a normal part of that.
Yeah.
You see everybody else like this, you're like, I want a boyfriend too, or whatever. You don't consciously you're not constantly thinking about it. It's like an unconscious thing that you're doing.
Decision that you're doing. Yeah.
It's just an unconscious thing. So then once you connect with this person, like I did with him, he's my boyfriend, things just went on develop, you know. Even with the sex part, that's a whole nother thing that I deal with, like with the rape stuff, like as far as a lot of females, you're not even ready for sex, but the boys is. Because a lot of them is experiencing sex before we do a lot of times. Or you got some girls that experience sex through maybe molestation, rape, or just having sexual activity too soon. They're ready to introduce it to other young adults. They're ready to introduce it to you. So that was kind of what happened with me with my first marriage. Like he was experienced, I wasn't. So he was ready to introduce it to me, but really, I really wasn't ready for it at the time.
Yeah,
that it happened. But I really worked through a lot of hurt and healing process. Some things in healing happens during the marriage. Women and men don't realize that because you kind of realize like this. Like I said, I knew that he had been cheating on me. So some things I kind of worked through within the marriage. That's why when it came to an end, even the same, it's like it really wasn't. Some things I didn't have to work through because I had already worked through it in the marriage. I know that seems strange, but it does. Like a lot of times you're in the marriage.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Sometimes you're married, you're more lonely in a marriage than you are. I was more lonely in my marriages sometimes than I am right now. I ain't lonely. Wow. And that's for real. I'm not. I was more lonely because you got expectations like we're going to spend time together. We're going to do this together. We're going to do that. Or you can feel the disconnect. Even if we were doing things together, he's there. Like my second marriage, we was friends. But I still felt that disconnect. I felt that he didn't love me like that. I felt that. You just feel it. You just know the disconnect is there. So I was more lonely with him than I am not with him. So in that marriage, I worked through a lot of that stuff where, okay, Stacey, like I can say now, like, no, a man's not my God. He's not my idol. Women don't realize they make men their idols. They don't realize that. Like the Lord told me with my first husband, I'm trying to get you to separate from him. Anything you say you can't live without, you done made it a God.
Yes.
And he told me this in the marriage. I know it was taking me so hard to let him go. And God said, I kicked Satan out of heaven. He already had took 1/3 of the angels. If I left him there, because I kept battling with kicking my first husband out. But that's what God, the Spirit gave me one day while I was in my prayer and reading my word. He said, I kicked Satan out of heaven. Because a lot of women battle with that, just getting them out. But that's the trick of the enemy to keep you in that track. But I worked through my healing a lot in my marriages. So then after
you do the counseling?
No, I didn't do no counseling. I was with the Lord, honey. Prayer, fasting. I have a resilience of bouncing back. I don't hold on to things, and that's a blessing.
That is a huge blessing. And I see that in you too. I see that watching you over the years. I see that in you. I see that resilience in you. I see that strength. And of course, I feel the Holy Spirit when you do your messages. So I see that strength and that power and that resilience. That shines bright in what you're doing here on YouTube. You know.
I'm glad, And I know that's a gift. Because I done counsel so many women, and I know that's really a gift. Like God, and I understand that that's part of that leadership quality in me. Leaders have a thing about, that's one thing you see with a lot of leaders, they're resilient. The ones that's really chosen to be leaders, like it is a resilience in you. Like come back, fight. Like, no, you're not going to take me out. I'll come back, fight. You know, you just got this fight about you.
Yes.
It's hard to explain, but you just got to fight about you. Like, no, this is not going to take me out. This is not going to be the detriment of me. I am going to come back. And with the word of God, you realize like, no, this was just knowing that this was the enemy. This was coming to destroy me. This was not of God. And I will not allow this to take me out. I will not allow this to be the end of me. This will not be my demise. This will not be unto death. It will not be. But I just always had that resilience to self-heal. And our bodies really are made to self-heal. So if our bodies can self-heal,
you're right.
That's right. So if our bodies can self-heal, why can't we heal mentally and spiritually and stuff? We can do the same thing in those areas.
It's a choice. That's the thing. People have to desire to want to move on. A lot of people choose to live in the past. It's a choice. Like I feel like when we're being honest with ourselves and we have our relationship with the Lord, if we just be honest and get it off our chest sometimes,
yes,
move on, move right along. It's a lot of things that I realized that was holding me back just because I did not acknowledge those things. But when I begin to acknowledge and just live in my truth, hey, it's done with. That's the past.
That's right, sis.
The Lord is continuously, like what the scripture said, continue to renew your mind. When you know and you believe in who our Creator, who the Most High says we are, you have no choice but to know that you're going to experience some trials and tribulations.
Yes.
But He will never leave nor forsake you.
Yes.
He will never leave. I want to go into this next question. I'm not going to touch on all the questions because you touched on so many powerful things on this morning. I'm like, wow, you got me riled up. So I really love you. And
I love you too, sweet.
It's like a love hug. Listening to you, because you have this sternness, but it's with love backing it up. So you be giving us that knowledge now, that wisdom, and sharpening us. But it's done in such a loving way, and that's why I love watching you. Okay, so the next question I want to ask: what should married couples consider before divorcing?
Make divorce the last option. Because divorce truly is not of God. He doesn't want you to get divorced. So some people divorce over petty things that they can work through. And because of selfishness, that's why God said He let Moses, because of the hardness of the heart. It's nothing but being selfish. You don't want to serve. That's all it is. Wow. You don't want to take down. Because a lot of people go into marriage about what I want, what I'm going to get. So when you're not getting what you want, it's like a little child throwing a temper tantrum. You ain't got to give me what I want. I'm going to leave you and go get somebody else to give me what I want. So before you get divorced, make sure you done everything that you know how to do to make that relationship work. That even means work on you. Work on you. Because most of us will pray for them. Lord, you get them and you make them. You're praying, Lord, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of this. But have you prayed about you? What can I do to make this relationship better? Where can I take down? Teach me this man that I'm with. Teach me of this woman I'm with. Teach me so I know how to deal with them. So before you go to anybody's divorce court, make sure that you done exhausted every avenue to make this marriage work. If you got to go to counseling, make sure you get godly counseling. Because everybody ain't giving godly counseling, which means they're not going by the word. They're giving you what they think. No, what does the scripture say? Because it is going to make a difference when you go according to that word. But make sure you exhaust every avenue before you get divorced. Because divorce is the last thing you want to do. Because you really done became one in more ways than you think. And that's why it's like so hurting, so detrimental. It's like a death. You got to go through you got to go through the grieving of that divorce, just like you go through grievings of death. So exhaust every avenue before you go get a divorce. Make sure that you done everything you need to do to make that marriage work before you say this is it. And both people got to be willing to work towards making the marriage better, because one person can't do it. But try to exhaust every avenue.
Yeah. Wow. I was just looking at a few questions. I think we covered a lot of them. One thing I wanted to retouch on, I know that you said you have children. How did that affect them? And how did you help them heal if they had any hurt behind, your divorces?
Yes, my kids they were hurt. They were hurt because my daughter was 18 by the time me and their father called it quit. So that's all they knew was their father. My baby son was 14, and my middle child, he was 15. He was 15 because he's a year older than my baby son. But my baby boy took it the hardest. And you know how he was the child that he blamed me. He blamed me. He wanted to go with this because they didn't know. Because me and my husband didn't really, like I said, I was more laid back, so we didn't argue. Like my daughter said, she never knew that we had problems. She'll say that now. Mom, I never knew that anything was going on with you and Dad until you be like, your dad's leaving. He's gonna be gone for a while. And I done packed the stuff up and put it in bags because I was good for that. Like, yo, take me, you gone. So they didn't know that anything was going on because of the way that I handled things in the house. Because kids are truly affected in the marriage. Like a lot of people say, I'm staying like I did. I'm going to stay because I don't want them not to grow up without the father. That very kids are going through purity hell in the marriage. But you stand there in this dysfunction. These kids are feeling things and going through things that you least suspect that they shouldn't go through. So like you said, with me, when you asked me the question, how did I think my parents affected my choices with my marriages? What you're doing is going to affect your children when they go out in society and make decisions on the relationships they get into.
Wow.
So I realized that in that instant, it wasn't just so much that the divorce affected my children. They were affected in this dysfunction. So it starts long before the divorce.
Wow.
The divorce is just a festering sore that once the kids realize that this is over, my parents ain't going to be together no more. Because that's their parent. They love them no matter what is going on.
Yeah.
As you got to realize, they are your children and that other person's child. So it's going to affect them. It's going to affect them. They're going to be hurt. And some more than others. My daughter she was affected, but not like my baby son. He really, and maybe because he really expressed it more. My daughter's probably more like me, where she internalized it and dealt with it. Where my son, no, he expressed it. He wanted to go with his dad. And I told his dad, I said, look, even though I knew he was on crack and I knew what he was doing and I'm trying to protect him, no, you can't go with your dad or whatever. He lashed out at me. So I was like, okay, we're going to call your father. And it hurt me. I said, God, he's your child first. You're going to cover him in the blood. If this happens, I'm going to cover him in blood. I can just protect him. Because he really was angry with me because I left his father. So I told his dad, come get him. But I'm going to tell you, God is still good in the midst of it. You think he came and got him?
Wow.
Because he knew he was messed up. He knew he could. Because I told him, I said, just come get him. Just come get him. You can get an apartment, get an apartment. You know, I told him what to do and everything. Because my first husband, all he did was made the money and bring me home the whole check. So he's never even signed up for an apartment or nothing. I did it all.
Wow.
He didn't do none of that stuff. All he was work, bring home the check. If I wanted to give him $10 out of that week of that check, that's what he would take. Because I handled all the finances and stuff in the house. He didn't do none of that. So I was telling him what to do to take my son because my son really wanted to go with his father. Like I said, he lashed out at me. So kids are really, truly affected in ways that you least expect because that's their parents, especially when they've been in the house. That's all they know is you and their father, you and their mother. That's all they know. So when one of them is gone,
You finally get through to him?
Yeah, I got through to him, but it still took years. Even now, my son he turned 30 this September. And even now, I see how it done really affected my son's life. It really affected my son's life. And how my mom had a birthday party. We went out to the Olive Garden. We had a birthday party there. And he's seeing me single stuff because he's questioning it. Like, Mom, one day we had it really out about me being single. Like, what are you doing? Why you can't get a man? Because he used to be having somebody in my life. So I'm like, no, he don't understand. I'm waiting on God. Just because they're a man of the male species don't mean they're meant to be a husband. So he don't understand this because he's not saved. So he can't comprehend why I'm out here alone and waiting on God because he's done dealt with women my age and older. So he knows women out here my age and stuff they living their life like, why is my mom still single with you? So he's thinking that it's something I'm doing wrong. So he's thinking like, well, Mom, you telling them you ain't gonna have sex and all this stuff. That's why you can't just go up there and tell them, well, he's saying the N-word and stuff. You can't go there and tell y'all. He's trying to tell me how to get a man. But we went out to dinner. Yeah,
I can't believe I can't believe he got the nerve to say. Oh wow!
He said, "I'll see you, Mom. I'll see you now. I ain't having sex, and I ain't." He's trying to mark me what he think I'm saying and I'm doing. I'm running these minutes because he don't understand my stance for God. And I understand that he don't know that, but I know he's concerned. Like he wants me to have a husband. So I knew it was coming from a heart of, Mom, I don't want to see you alone, and while you're alone and you still here single by yourself and stuff. So I know where it was coming from, but he can't comprehend why I'm like that. But we had a conversation at my mom's birthday, and he said some things about his dad. That's why dad ain't with you, blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you how good God is. You ain't got to fight your battle.
No.
Because even when he said the things he said, I knew that, okay, he's still thinking that it's my fault that me and his dad separated. because I don't talk about, the father.
Mm-hmm.
So just in the last year, he went back hanging around with my ex-husband. He wanted to get back in his father's life. It didn't go good because he had got saved, but he backslid and went back smoking crack and stuff again. So he's back out there doing what he did. So my son done went and experienced it. So now it's a whole different turn. So it's been years of him get to the point to understand that, because he casts blame on me. And it's still been in him that it was my fault that his father wasn't in their life. No, it wasn't my fault.
Now he sees.
Now he sees. But it's still been years for him to. He's been holding this thing all this time, thinking that it's my fault that his father ain't been in his life. I was thinking that he was done with it in the teenage stages, but no, he wasn't. He still had that thing in him, thinking that it was me, that his father was gone. But now he knows, because he done got older and stuff. He knows a little bit more for the experiences he done had with ladies. So he understands a little bit more. But him going back, just this year, hanging back with his father, and he realizes now.
Did he apologize at any point once he realized that you weren't the problem?
You know what he did? Just over I think like August, he called me because something happened and we wasn't talking for a little bit. He didn't call me. He called me, told me he said, I know Dad's messed up, and he went into a lot of things. He said, Mom, you done been good to us, and he broke down and told me, yeah.
Amen. Because I know, even though I don't know you personally, I feel your spirit, Sister Stacy. I know you are a great woman of God. I know you are. So I love the fact that you said he did apologize, because sometimes out of naivete, we can blame one parent over the other.
Yes, and I know that's what it was.
And the thing about, sometimes the family hurt, sometimes the divorce hurt. We hold grudges that we don't even know we holding.
Yeah.
Who knows if your son even knew that he was holding that and holding that for so long? Sometimes it takes a situation to help you see what's really going on, what the root of your issue really is. So that's so powerful, because I knew, honestly, my parents, when they divorced, they were married for 25 years, and even before they got divorced, I held grudges against my parents for a very long time. But it kept me in depression. It kept me angry. It kept me from going home. It kept me like fighting myself. So I had to really forgive my mom and dad and see it outside of just them divorcing, but understand that sometimes things happen people have no control over.
Yes.
They didn't mean any harm. Sometimes you can hope, when you grow up in a situation, my parents were fussing and fighting all the time. Glasses were being broken. When you grow up in that situation, that helped me to develop such an anxiety, and like I was on edge. Yes. I was a very on edge child, and I suffered from depression because you never know what you're going to walk into.
Yes, and that's understandable.
You never know what house what atmosphere you're going to walk into. And for a long time, I realized that I had like a hate for my parents. I didn't realize that I had that, but I had this anger towards them that I had to let go and give to God and say, these are just people who made some mistakes.
Yeah.
They didn't want their children to suffer. They didn't
That's
want
right. No.
These are people that are, when you separate them, they truly are loving people, but they just couldn't get things together right with each other. But they're not evil people. They're not bad people.
Yes.
So when as an adult, Sister Stacy, I'm 36 years old, and honestly, I'm just coming to the realization this years ago, maybe when I was in 30, I started working on forgiving my parents. I was holding back this whole time, this grudge, and I just wouldn't let it go. And I'm like, because of them, we had to go through this, that, and that. But I realized that sometimes people mean well, but it don't always work out.
That's right.
But they don't, it's not their fault, because I really believe they just tried, just like you tried. You and your husband, you didn't just let go of him after one cheating incident, or after best friend. You tried, you genuinely tried. But the Lord was saying, I have a bright future for you, and I have something better for you.
He
So
knows the plans, honey.
In me, trust in my word and what I say about you, so those things can come to the manifestation in due timing. Ecclesiastic says things happen. There's a time and a place for everything. And the Lord is having his time. So I'm just so thankful for you to share this testimony, because I can relate to the things that you said. Being in a marriage, my dad cheated on my mom a lot inside the marriage. I can relate to a lot of different things that you mentioned. So it's really healing. You know, this conversation is also healing for me as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And the enemy, a lot of that stuff is a trick of the enemy, because from the time we born, he wants to put hurts and pains on you, because that's an open door for him. Just like we do praise and worship, and God said he inhabits the praises of his people. Well, that's how the enemy do with hate and hurt and pain and unforgiveness. That's like worship to him. He inhabits that. Wow. Yes, he inhabits that. So like my son, I understand. Now, one thing about my son, that he's got a lot like me. My daughter's like her father more than my son's more like me. Well, he's resilient. And he has that part where he's a love bug. So even if he's angry or whatever, he can't stay like that, because he's still got that part of him where he wants to love. Yeah. But the enemy wants to take it and make it something else. Yeah.
Thank God for prayer. Thank God for prayer.
Yes, honey.
For his covering. For his covering. The prayers that people have been praying over us long are still coming to fruition to this day. Yes. And he's covering the hearts and the minds of your children. You know, he's keeping them. This is just as we were kept, you know, me and my brothers and stuff. So when you come to the realization of what's hurting you, you have no choice but to try to do your best to face it and to move on. Because in this life, you can't stay stuck. Everything is constantly evolving. Everything is changing. Our skin cells change. You know, our skin is constantly falling off and rejuvenating itself. So we gotta stay changing.
That's how my daughter done. That's why she's done been resilient. My daughter's done forever changed, and she tried to make relationship with her father, and he just refuses. So she just like, she lets it go. But she like press it, you know. She got that part like me where she tried to build a relationship and try to work with him and be forgiving for things that he's done to her and stuff. And she's done pressed in, but he's done kind of like kept pushing away. Like she tried to open the door to let him in to build a relationship. He closed the door back. He don't take his part in there. So she just, you know.
Maybe it's some unresolved hurt with him too that he has yet to face. That's why all those things are playing out. You know, I just really, you know, with prayer and stuff, I really believe that the Lord will come around and get him saved, get him on the right track. And I'm sure you've been praying up something for him.
Yes, honey.
So you keep on holding that faith.
I know that's right.
You never know the manifestations of the Lord, what the Lord can do. He can make a thing brand new. He can. A thing.
Yes, he can.
Let me see. I'm going to a couple questions. So we've talked about so much, so I'm not going to go over everything. Do you want to be married again?
Yes. I get that question a lot. I told you I feel like I'm made for marriage. I love being married. But just gotta be the right person.
Yeah.
In our time now, but I will say this. If I don't get married, I'm not gonna die.
Amen.
It's not gonna kill me. It's not gonna kill me. I'm gonna enjoy my life with the Lord, enjoy the people that God bring in my life, and enjoy life, whatever it brings.
Amen.
Yes, I desire to be married. That's my I love being married. But
Amen.
it's just that in our society now, most people are not relationship people.
That's true.
And they're not upfront, truthful people. So with me, what you see is what you get.
Yes.
So,
yes.
You know, most people, they want to like, well, you don't do this when you first meet somebody. You don't do that when you first meet somebody. So I need somebody, just like we doing here on this video.
Yes.
We just flowing.
We just keeping it real.
Yeah, just keep it just flow. Like, no, we're going to have to wind up living together. So you're going to see everything anyway. Mm-hmm. So they like, when should I say this? And when should I do this? And when should I do this? It's not a game. This is real life. And
yes.
God doesn't play games. A lot of things out here that people do, and a lot of books for singles, it's game playing.
It
God
is.
ain't no games.
Sister Stacy, I listened to a young lady just for a little bit, and I try not to listen to too many people, but she said the only way you're going to get a relationship is through manipulation. I said the devil is a liar. I was with my dad. I was with my dad the other day. I said, Dad, I said, if I die alone, it's okay. I was like, if I end up being single for the rest of my life, I'm not going out here and I'm not going to disrespect myself. I'm not going to put myself in a situation that is going to, just because I want a man, just because I feel like I got it. Because I could be in a relationship right now. I could have been married a year ago. So this is the thing. I'm not going to do that. And when she said that, I'm like, people's minds are really warped.
Yes, they are.
They don't really believe what our Creator, the Most High God, can do for us. And my thing is, stand your ground. If you stand for nothing, you fall for anything.
Yes.
And it's like you said, it's a lot of men around, Sister Stacy. When I go to the gym, and be a lot of men there. It's easy to meet men. But in this day and time with technology, social media, people, it's easy to lie. It's easy to pretend that you're something that you're not.
Yes.
And most people are surfacey.
Yes.
I want to know the truth. I don't want you to tell me something you think I want to hear. So I said to the Lord, I said, you know what, God? I mean, my life is good. I'm okay with being by myself.
Yes.
A lot of my life, I was like, I want a husband. I want to be married. But let me just explore life peacefully. And if it's His will, it will come together. I'm not going to lie, it's a desire of my heart, but I'm not making anything idle. Because as you said earlier, we could drop dead after this after this session right here, talking talking about divorce. So we have to live our life. Don't wait till somebody else come in to live life the way you want to do. If you travel. If you want to get out and create a business, do that. A lot of people are being held onto this stronghold, or I got to be married, or I got to have this before I can do that. That's simply not true, because we have the Most High. We have the Lord. We have God. What else do you really need? Yeah. So that kind of mindset is very good to have, because it can be a little discouraging sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, it will be frustrating because you focus on it so much. I just did a video on that, making marriage an idol, and I know, I've been there in the beginning of this part of being single. I got to the place where, like, honey, I'm gonna get a man. I could have had boo now. I could have had one several times, but I know it wasn't of God. I knew that they were still in their flesh. I knew certain things. So, like, I want to write a book, The Rules of Elimination, because a lot of Christian believers are deceived on, like you said, that discernment part. Yeah. And certain things are just a no-go. And you don't see somebody. I done did that all the time. Like, he's not married. He's married. He's not available. He's dating somebody. He's already sexually active with somebody. He's not available. He's not saved. That's a no-no. Like, certain things is no-brainers, but it's not a no-brainer for people that want that gray area.
Yeah, who it's not a no-brainer for people who just want what they want.
Yes.
That, because it's not. And you have to, like you said, we have to be very discerning. We have to be very watchful of what people say. I listen to what guys say to me. I listen to how they look at me. I listen to how they treat me. I listen to how they maneuver with other people, because I'm very watchful, because my future is at stake. I was talking with someone yesterday. you can let the wrong person in your life and be dead.
Yes, you can.
You can let the wrong person in your life and live a life of abuse, neglect, disrespect. So why not be watchful and a good steward of what you have? And if you are truly connected to the Most High, to God, you will know, because all you got to do, honestly, Sister Stacey, I know you can vouch for this. When you ask God for revelation about somebody in your life, I know He doesn't hesitate to give you the truth.
Yes, He will. He will show you. That's why I'm not with. I done had like 3 times I could have been hooked up with somebody. But no, I said, Lord, I'm going to do it your way this time. And He done gave me so much revelation. I done been still. Most people don't be still long enough to get the revelation of God. See, I done been still, not just in my body, because a lot of people might be sitting in the place that look like they still, but in the spirit, they are raging wolves.
Yeah.
In the spirit, they're tormented on the inside. But I mean, really be still in your spirit, where you allow God to give you revelation knowledge of these different situations in your life. And most people ain't even ready for marriage, not the godly marriage.
Yeah.
For the way the world sees it, yeah, they might be ready. Because a lot of women think because they cook, they clean, take care of themselves, they're ready for marriage. No. Your temperament ain't even right. No. You're not ready to handle the pressures of life. Because even when you get this marriage, this little prince that you think you're getting, it's going to be some storms. How are you going to handle them? You can't even handle the little storm at your job when Sister Susie don't even want to speak to you. So how you going to handle in there with your husband and a big storm come? You gone. You going to crash and burn. You can't even just handle on the highway, little road rage.
And a lot of these relationships are being built up superficially.
Yes,
and
they
you know
are.
what I don't like is when a lot of people, we were talking about this too, and you could meet your husband in the church. There's a lot of good men in the church, but don't just think because he in the church that he is a good man.
Come on now.
And he come to church every Sunday, got a nice car, got all these things going for himself, but you still got to use the discernment of the Lord, because what look good ain't always good for you. And if we are walking in the flesh, we won't be able to see the truth of people. And that's where you talk about desperation. Some of these women have to really look down and deep inside their heart to see if God is really operating through them. Because there's a lot of women who just, I love God, blah, 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 but are desperate, willing to do anything to have someone. But let's clean up ourselves.
Come on now.
During this time, Sister Stacey, I'm working on Constance. I don't know if God gonna bless me in that way. I can't say that. But what I can say is I'm getting healing. What I can say is I'm working on myself. I want to better myself and become a better woman. And for whatever reason that is, for whether I'm just to help other people out, but we can't put all our eggs in one basket. We can't be desperate or too anxious. The scripture says, Philippians 4:7, be anxious for nothing.
That's right.
And that's what God is calling us to do. You spoke about faith. It's not seen, but it's felt. It's something that we have. If we have this faith in our Creator, why not let's just have peace every day? Why not, like you said, take day by day, step by step. And if it's right, He will bless you. But let me ask you this. What do you think? What do you think? Is it looking for a man if you decide to online date?
Well, I think that. Now, for me, in my house, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
But I can't say, God can come any kind of way. My thing is, I got a family member I talk to all the time. If they're coming in your inbox or Twitter, your DM or whatever, you think you're the only inbox they're in? And you can tell by that conversation that the first thing, like, men are short and sweet. They don't deal with the details. Oh, you're cute. I was looking at your, I done had some of them. I'm looking at your profile pic. Or, it's all about what they see. It's all about what they see. So you already know they're coming from lust.
Yeah.
So, and you have to be careful. If you're going to do online dating, because I know some people, that's where they're at. So, if you're going to do that, it's a way. you really got to have that relationship with God, so you will be able to tell by the written conversation that they're carnal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be able to tell. But if you're carnal, you can't tell. So you better leave that alone.
Yeah.
But if you're in the spirit, you'll be able to tell other people in the spirit. Like, it's just like me and you connected.
Mm-hmm.
It's something about knowing people that's in the spirit.
Yeah.
Their conversation is different.
Mm-hmm.
The way they move about in life is different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to do online date, just go down their Facebook page. What do they like?
Yep.
What are they posting up? It's going to show you, from the abundance of your heart, your mouth going to speak. So
yes.
on Facebook, you're going to see what they like, what they love. Is it a lot of corner flusty stuff on there? Is it some scriptures? Are they double-minded? You know, they talk about scripture, next thing they're cussing. You know, look down that page a little bit. Look that page out.
That's true.
It don't take much. All right, okay, he want to holler at me. Let me look at his page. Where he from? You'll find out, you know.
That's true.
On that minister. Is he all about himself? Is he prideful? Look at some of his videos. How's he talking? Is he arrogant, prideful? You're going to be it, you know, but you got to check him out. For me, no, I don't, you know. It would really have to be God. And like I said, I would have to really be able to discern his spirit. I would really have to hear God in them.
Yeah.
I mean, really hear God in them. Because it is a difference. And it's a difference between a man and a boy. But a little girl is not going to know what a man is from a boy if you're still a little girl.
That's true.
So
you have to be spiritually mature and be in tune with that discernment. That's just not for relationships, but that's for everything. You utilizing the gift of discernment is, to me, the most powerful gift, because it teaches you how to navigate through everything in life, whether you should speak, whether you should be quiet, how you should react to the situation. Sometimes you got to, you know, the word says, be slow to speak and quick to listen.
That's right.
You know, so it's just when utilizing the discernment, it can take you out of a lot of traps. It can.
Yes, it will.
But I'm just like, this day, and honestly, Sister Stacey, I've been single for quite some time. I had a relationship 2015 for about a year. Before then, I was single for almost 10 years. I was in a couple college relationships, 3 years, 2 years at a time. So I haven't really been dating. I've really been just to myself, you know. But I do see that I'm going to be quite honest with you, and maybe I do need to get out more. But it's not as easy just to, like it used to be for me to like to meet somebody at an event, or, you know, just every day. So what do you think about that? What are some ways that you think to open yourself up and meet new people at different places and stuff?
For me, I believe that it's just going to happen. I really believe it's just going to happen. Like, because I feel as though if you're going to go out here and put yourself in positions to meet somebody, that's like you're on the hunt.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that God wants me to be on the hunt. Now, I will say, like for myself, I know that it's getting ready to happen for me soon. And I can tell you why. I'm a dreamer. So I done had certain dreams and stuff like over 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So things that I dreamt about years ago, I can see it manifested in my life. And during this time, God showed me that I had a husband. So I don't know when it's going to happen. I know that it's getting ready to happen soon because of the things that's being set up in my life. Like he said, signs and wonders, we're going to know the end of time. God will show you things. And then you'll have signs and wonders that happen on the outside to let you know that if I've done that, I'm going to do this. I haven't forgotten you. But for me, I think it's just going to happen. You could be at the 7-Eleven. You could be at the shortstop. You could be at the Wawa. You could be at Royal Farm. You could be at Walmart. You could be anywhere, you know. And that man, when he sees you, he's going to know, look, that's my queen. He's going to want to talk to you. He's going to be drawn to you. He's going to you're the one. And then you're going to know it's going to click. I don't want to, it's just going to click. You don't have to, I've had different experiences in my life where it just happens. You don't have to make it happen. You don't have to try to put yourself in that place for that. It's going to happen because God is preparing you. He's preparing that mate. You know, you may be in your Esther phase right now where he's getting that anointing on you. He's getting that sweet aroma on you. So that man's going to know the aroma from you. He's going to know that you're his Esther. He's going to know it. It's just He's gonna know, and you're gonna know. It's just gonna happen.
And that's my personal belief, but people have called me naive. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be out when I would go to these different events and stuff like that. I used to be out, not like putting myself out there for a man, but I would be out like, oh, maybe my husband could be here. That was a video I just did recently. But a lot of people have said, you're naive to just think that it's going to happen. But what is faith? What is faith? So I'm not necessarily, right now I'm in a place where it will be beautiful, but that's not my focus. But you have to always keep your faith in God. It's not because God can make anything happen. There's been some powerful things that happened, such as what happened with you in the townhouse. It was the Lord that brought that together.
Yes.
It wasn't you seeking out several people, asking them, can this or that. It was God. So it's his timing. So I think that's the kind of mindset that we do have to have. It's okay to go to events. It's okay, but you can't make the right thing happen. And guess what? If you're desperate, the enemy is going to make the wrong thing happen.
And I can tell you, sis, yes, and I can tell you, sis, that most people have not been through this experience with God. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be hard for them to comprehend the things of the light. Yeah. They're not going to be able to comprehend it because most people have not went through the process of really getting a godly relationship. So outside information of people that ain't really been through this process or not going through this process, they're going to think you're crazy. They're going to think you're strange. That's how they did with Jesus. They're not going to understand. It's going to be hard for them to understand because most people got their mates out of flesh. Mm-hmm. Even the people that's in the church, ministers and pastors and stuff, a lot of them brought their boo in the church with them. They ain't been through this stage of waiting on God.
No.
They did not go through the stage of waiting on God. So they can't comprehend you really getting downloaded from God, letting you know, like, I got you. I'm going to take care of you even in this area. Mm-hmm. He said, I'll supply your needs. That's a need. Mm-hmm. That's a need. You know, we are supposed, God put us with, God took me back. I had a brother who said, y'all steady wanting a husband, y'all steady wanting a husband. And God told me, he said, go back to Genesis when I created Eve. What did he say when he created Eve? It wasn't good for man to be alone. He put us here to be with a man.
Yeah.
But the world make you think like something wrong with you because you want a husband. Ain't nothing wrong with you. God put us here to be beside of a husband.
But you got to go through it, and you got to go through it the Lord's way.
Yes.
Not the world's way.
No.
Because that's why people are ending up getting married and, and getting divorces or having terrible marriages, because a powerful point that you made, being led by the flesh.
Yes.
People are being led by saying, oh, this person is beautiful. They don't see nothing else about the person. The person might be beautiful on the outside, but her house might be dirty. She may not have cooked a meal in 10 years.
Come on. She might be an evil Jezebel witch. And when you get in that house, you're going to be in there with that witch, going to tear you up.
And all he gonna be crying in the bathroom. All he gonna have to say is, well, she was pretty.
He gonna be on what Solomon say, gonna be on the rooftop. And that's what a lot of these men are. They don't got their little queen bee, their little beauties, but what they doing? Working all this overtime, don't want to be home. That's the rooftop. Yeah. That's the rooftop syndrome. They don't even want to be home.
And how much do you think like looks plays a part in it? How much does it matter to you now that you know what you know? How much does the outside, what you see in the natural, play a part in that decision in your life?
I've never been well, we all want somebody that is attractive to us because we all got our idea of what it looks like. Mm-hmm. But for me in this season, and I've never been one that really been hung up on looks anyway, so I ain't never had no Don, Juan, whatever. But everybody wants something pleasing on the eyes. But in this season of my life, I know that it's about the spirit. Amen. Because if you get somebody with a good spirit, the outside, they're going to be beautiful to you. Mm-hmm. Once you begin to fall in love with them and get to know them, some people, you know people like this, they meet people like, no, it ain't what they would want, but then they just get around them and that love just overtakes them. And they're beautiful to you. They're beautiful to you. And it might not be your idea what you would look like on the outside, But on the inside, they're exactly what you need in life. And a lot of people get hung up on the outside. That's why most people can get sold anything, as long as it looks good. It could be a hunk of junk. That's even a car. But because that's why they fix it up. What they do with these houses now, we're going to stage the house.
Yes.
Most people are hung up on the way it looks. The plumbing might not be right. The roof might got a leak in it. Your hot water tank might not be working. The main part of the house might not even be working. But because it looked good, they're going to jump on it. And the enemy knows that. He knows that. They always say about men looking at looks and visual, women are too.
Yeah.
Because we all have an idea of what really gets your blood boiling.
I used to say, 6'4", 6'5". God forgive my soul. I was like, oh, Lord, I love me some chocolate. But see, the Lord.
Honey, me too, girl. Honey, death by chocolate, girl.
He had to deal with my heart. He had to deal with my heart, get my heart right. Because, that ain't right. He could be 5'3", maybe. He could.
But you know what now?
Like,
anybody that got God in them, that's the blessing. They got God and they love God. That's hard to find. That's rare. Especially in a man. One that really seeks God and really got a life dedicated to God. Money can't. That's why he said, a wife, her price is far above rubies. Because when you really find that person, male or female, that really love God, have a relationship with God, and that loves you, it's a rare jewel. It's a rarity.
It is.
Because you can meet a lot of people, but they don't mean they have a heart for you, that they love you. They don't even know how to love. So when you get that, it's rare. It's rare. You need to hold on to it.
Most people don't. And Sister Stacey, I can say this. I've met a lot of guys. I've been on a good bit of dates. And people say, oh, we can just go out there and meet somebody. But what our Creator, what God puts in our life, man, it's nothing compared to all that we see. And I met some quote unquote nice people, got themselves together financially. But if it's not of the Lord, it's just not going to work. And you can tell a God connection. You can tell it.
You can.
So I just think that, like you said, when he has called it to happen, it will happen at his appointed time.
Yes.
And he's the potter and we are the clay. And I consider myself a young lady still being sculpted, still being worked on.
Yes.
Constance, fix this up. Clean this up by yourself, Constance. So I can be whatever I need to be for the person that is ultimately coming in my life.
He's making you a gift.
Yeah.
You're a gift.
Yeah.
And a gift keeps on giving. Gives, not take. So he want to make us a gift.
Yes.
To them and them a gift to us. But if you don't let God finish that work, you're going to be a thorn in somebody's flesh.
That's true. That's true. Or you will step out. If you are too hasty, you will step out without God and miss out on that blessing. So, Sister Stacey, this has been such a powerful conversation. I am so thankful. I am honored to have you here. I am so glad that you made the time on today. I didn't know we were going to talk this long. It was a blessing. I truly enjoyed you.
I've enjoyed you too, baby.
Yes, ma'am. I truly enjoyed you. It's just such a blessed occasion, and I just really believe that a lot of people will be blessed by everything that you had to say. You shared your heart. You were open. You were honest. If you will, can you please share your social medias and also any information about your book? And I'll also link this stuff below when I put the video out.
Okay. You can email me at simplystacy52@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Facebook at my name, Stacey Warren, or you can go to Simply Stacey. And I have a page just for females. And I gave you the link so you can link that down there so they can tap into that. So be encourage videos. And I got YouTube, Simply Stacey. And you can go on there and find me on there too.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for joining on today. I truly appreciate you. I truly appreciate your wisdom. Do you have any information as to when your book will be coming out?
I'm looking at it at the top of the year, probably around February.
Okay, awesome.
Yes, yes. It's
Awesome.
at the editor now, so we're in the process of getting it published and getting everything, the book cover and all that stuff. So probably by February, March, it'll be out.
That is such
So
a
I'll let you know,
beautiful
and I'll send you a copy as soon as it gets printed.
Yes, I would love to have you back on after I read it to like go over some chapters and stuff. If
That'll
you
be
don't mind.
fine. Be perfect.
Yeah, I would love to. Yes, I can't wait. So thank you so much for joining me on today. We're just thankful for your presence. Continue to do what you do. You give out so much love. It's like a love hug every time I come to your channel.
And
It's
that's what I
such
want.
a blessing. It's powerful, and then you're real and you're honest, and it's some people need to check. Please check out Simply Stacey. She's a beautiful woman of God with so much wisdom, so much knowledge, and it's a blessing to be in her presence and to see her resilience. It's all over her. So I'm just thankful for you, thankful that you joined me on today. Well, everyone will be catching up with y'all soon. Thank you for joining us and have a super blessed day. Bye.
Smooth.